Welcome friends. Today we will learn about intellectual disability. Mental retardation is currently referred to as intellectual disability. Intellectual disability is thought to affect about 1% of the total population. And of all the types of disabilities, intellectual disability poses a greater challenge. Now let's see what does it actually mean. The American Association on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities defined intellectual disability as a significant sub-average general intellectual functioning existing concurrently with deficits in adaptive behavior and manifested during the developmental period from birth until 18 years of age. Now we can see here that it talks about limitations in two areas, one in intellectual disability and the other is adaptive behavior. Now, what do you mean by intellectual functioning? Intellectual functioning, also known as IQ, it refers to a person's ability to learn, reason, make decisions and solve various problems. And adaptive behavior, these skills are necessary for day-to-day life, such as being able to communicate effectively, interact with others and taking care of oneself. And the third area which we can see here is the developmental period. Now these two deficits can be manifested before 18 years of age. And intellectual disability is a permanent condition. Corbett also defined intellectual disability as that condition where the intellectual disability is associated with a social, physical or psychiatric handicap and requires special care and treatment. Corbett also talks about a person who is intellectual disabled as having intellectual disability. Besides, he also has deficit in social behavior, his physical aspect and psychiatric aspect too. Besides these, he also requires special care and treatment. Now we will see how intellectual disabilities are classified. Intellectual disabilities are classified into 4 categories. These categories are according to the IQ level of the students or the people. The first category we'll talk about is mild category, that is mild intellectual disabled. Now this disability, IQ level of these type of disability is from 50 to 69 and they can live independently with minimum level of support. These type of disability can live independently and they don't need too much of support. The other is moderate category. Now these type of intellectual disabled children, their IQ is 36 to 49. They can also live independently but with moderate level of support. The third category we'll talk about is severely disabled child. His IQ level is between 20 to 35. They require daily assistance with self-care activities and safety supervision. The fourth category is profound intellectual disabled. These people have IQ less than 20 and they require 24 hours care. From all these 4 categories, the mild intellectual disabled child is also known as educable disabled, okay, and the moderately and the severely are known as trainable. So that means these children can be trained, okay, and the profound are known as uneducable and untrainable. So when we are talking about including these type of children in our schools, in inclusive schools. That means we can admit children who are mildly disabled in our inclusive schools. Now let's talk about the characteristics of intellectual disabled children. We have classified into three characteristics: medical characteristics, behavioral characteristics, and educational characteristics. When we talk about medical characteristics, we can say that such type of children have blunt features, they have small stature, they are unable to walk with good coordination, they have small or large head, protruding tongue, and small eyes. Behavioral characteristics can be seen through slow response, they have difficulty in making decisions, and they find it very difficult to complete a task uninterruptedly. And when their demands are not met, they react aggressively. They have difficulty in remembering things. They have also difficulty in attending to their own self-care need. Educational characteristics, when we are talking, is they are slow in understanding and learning, they have short attention span, they lack concentration, they have poor memory, there is poor motor development, slow speech development, lack of abstract thinking. Besides these, they have difficulty to master things like dressing up, feeding themselves, or then they have trouble with talking properly, the slow language development, and there is also difficulty in problem solving or logical thinking. They have behavioral problems such as explosive tantrums. Then they have inability to connect actions with consequences. And children with severe or profound disability may have other health problems such as seizures, mood disorders, motor skills impairment, vision problem, or hearing problem. Here the role of the teacher is very, very, very important. A teacher, once we come to know about the educational characteristics and behavioral characteristics, we are sure to help these children out of such problems. The next thing we'll study about is causes of intellectual disabilities. Now, anytime something interferes with normal brain development can result into intellectual disability. The most common causes being genetic conditions like Down syndrome and Fragile X syndrome. These are known as prenatal condition. Perinatal is around the time of birth. Now, during childbirth, it may result if a baby is deprived of oxygen or born extremely premature. And postnatal is in infancy and childhood. Now, infections like meningitis, whooping cough, or measles can lead to intellectual disability. Severe head injury, near drowning, extreme malnutrition, infections in the brain, exposure to toxic substances such as lead, and severe neglect or abuse can also cause intellectual disability. It is said that in 2/3 of all the children who have intellectual disability, the cause is unknown. Okay. Identification of intellectual disabilities. The first is we need tools and techniques for assessment for such type of children. The first is developmental screening tests. Developmental screening tests, there are some tests through which we can test about their developmental period. If the development according to the age are they developing in a proper and correct way. Second is behavior assessment scales. There are different scales such as AAMD, adaptive behavior scale, and or the Vinland social maturity scale, through which we'll assess their behavior. Third is intelligence test. The most widely intelligence tests that are used are Stanford, Binet, and Wechsler intelligence scale for children. Fourth is observation. Through observation also, acute observation, we can understand children having intellectual disabilities. The next we can identify is through case study of a child. And the last is cumulative record of a student. We can identify such type of children. Educational programs. Now, educational programs, first is admission procedure. For the admission of such type of children, it is very important to first identify such children, and during the admission procedure we have to be aware of the level of such type of children, the IQ level of such type of children, and through that only we can understand, and then we can admit such type of children in our schools. Schools should be acceptable to such type of children. They should welcome children with mild intellectual disability. Next is flexible curriculum. A curriculum should be flexible. One of the most important characteristics of a curriculum, it should be flexible so that it can adapt to the needs of different types of learners. Third is building capacity of teachers. A teacher is very important factor, very important source through which a child learns to behave well in the class. A child gets direction, a child learns so many things. So a teacher should be well aware of such type of children and able to communicate properly. So, and also a teacher also needs assistance for such type of children. Fourth is support services. As we know that a teacher somewhere needs support services to deal with such type of children in her class. The support services may be the infrastructure needed in the school, or also some resource persons who can be helpful to the teacher to understand the child in a better way. Next is reducing class size. It is very important that to make each and every child needed in the class, to pay personal attention to each and every child in the class. It is very important that the number of students in the class should be less. So in inclusive schools, it is very necessary to reduce the class size. All-round development of the child. A teacher should take care that a child is developed physically, emotionally, as well as intellectually. Then involving parents, family, community. Only a school cannot work in isolation. To deal with such type of children, it is very important that the parents, family, community collaborate with the school authorities, school administration, so that the child grows in a proper manner. Then role of teachers. As we know that the teacher is the backbone of the school system. What is the role of teacher? How a teacher should behave with such type of children, or any children, you can say. A teacher should have a positive attitude. She should be caring. Okay, a child should feel wanted. He should feel that I am a part of this school, of this class. He should feel that the teacher likes him. then only a child will freely communicate with the teacher. Once he finds that the teacher is not paying attention to him or is ignoring him, then the child goes back. He sometimes feels very sad, he feels unwanted, and then he will not cope up with the classroom teaching. So a teacher has to take well care of all the students and involve all the students in her classroom teaching learning process. A teacher should use visual aids, because as we know that these children are slow in learning, slow in retention of knowledge. So using of visual aids, audio visual aids, help such type of children to learn things to retain things for a longer period of time. A teacher should also involve group learning activity in a group, because all the children are involved, such type of children deal with other normal children, and then they get to learn different things. They respect each other, they contribute in the activity, and each child feels independent in doing the task. Though together, each and every child has something to offer to the group. And the teaching method should be such that every child understands what is being taught in the class. Then when a teacher is teaching the concept, she should teach one concept at a particular time. Then during teaching, a teacher should take care that she keeps on asking questions to the students, so that she understands how much a child has learnt. So taking proper feedback, motivating the child to answer, motivating the child to participate in the teaching learning process will go a long way in retaining the child's self-confidence in the class and to deal with the society. Role of parents. Just as a teacher looks after the child in the class, the parents stay at home and then they have to take care of the child in their houses. Now when a teacher gives homework to the child, it is the duty of the parents to see whether the child is doing the homework or not. Then a parent should also have a positive attitude. He should never in any way compare the intellectual disabled child with the normal children. He should support the school authorities, whatever the school administration is taking initiative to protect such type of children. The parents should fully support the school. They should follow the rules and guidelines the school follows. Then they should help the child to complete the school task. And whatever is being taught in the school, a parent should make the child repeat whatever is being taught in the class. And in their daily life also, they should constantly motivate the child, encourage the child, and give positive feedback. They should have a positive and a good, pleasing atmosphere in the house, where the child feels a part of his house, feels a part that he also contributes in some way or the other in the house. So this has been the intellectual disability. We have studied about the definition, we have studied about the different categories of intellectual disabilities, causes, and then the identification of such type of children and the educational programs. Thank you so much.